Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We're live this morning. Good Friday. Well, it is a Good Friday. It is not the Good Friday. It is a Good Friday. It's Friday morning. Yep. We're at 5686 this morning on the SPX. Looking at SPX 500. Says I'm live here, but it's looking like I'm not, even though I am. Now it says I'm live. The platforms are telling the people that we're live. Yesterday we closed SPX at 5663. Massive drop at the end of the day. Anybody who was sitting underneath that drop, oh my goodness. I had to go learn some more stuff. Let me switch over to this chart real quick because I had to go and ask my mentor, because y'all know I still have a mentor too. And anybody who leading you someplace and ain't being led by somebody, y'all need to find somebody else to lead you. And that's in any space. That's my word for the day. Is if you following somebody who's not being led by somebody, you need to find somebody else to follow. Anyway, I asked my mentor, the price at the end of the day dropped like a rock down to 5663, and I asked him what made it do this. Like, how could I look at this chart and see that this over here, this foolishness over here to the right was going to happen? And he told me it was buy side imbalance, that there was an imbalance from over here that needed to be corrected, and it got corrected over here. Now, I personally, I'm be, transparent with you. Never knew nothing about no buy side, sell side imbalance. I've not needed that piece of information as an option seller, but he referred me to some educational materials so that your girl can go find out. So that way, when I'm looking here and we're just cruising right along, I needed to know that this was a possibility. I didn't even know this was a possibility. Right. But he said this big imbalance that was caused by the run up right here left an imbalance on the other side. And that imbalance had to be managed. And it was managed by that big afternoon drop. So guess what I'm going to be doing this weekend. I know it's Mother's Day, and it is. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, even though I will be live on Sunday. Well, I'm planning on it. I might not be live Sunday. It depends on what my children plan on doing for Mother's Day. I don't really have an idea. But I may be live. I'm planning on being live Sunday at 5. I may be just on our charting call at 6 with my community. I may or may not be live here on Sunday. I don't know. We'll see, right? But either way, it's Mother's Day on Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers. If you got a mother, please, if mother's still alive, because everybody has a mother. If you have a mother that's still alive, please honor her in some type of way, because it's a whole different ball game when your mom's not here and you'd like to be able to celebrate her and cannot. Okay, so whether your mama was a good one or not, honor her in some kind of way on Mother's Day. Okay. Either way, that was my public service announcement. But this weekend, I'll be watching some videos to find out about buy side and sell side imbalance, because that's what happened here. I didn't know this was a thing. You listening, TJ? This was a thing. Tanya, I know these are my people. I didn't know nothing about, the question says, ICT teaches this inefficient and imbalance. Yes, this is, I think, an ICT concept. And one of the videos that TJ sent me was from ICT, but I didn't know anything about that. I never studied ICT because ICT just gets a little long-winded. I watched a couple of his videos and I couldn't for long. So, but I will watch these videos because I'm now interested. Something is important to you when it's important to you. And right now, understanding how this run up led to this drop is important to me. All right. Because this right here took out some people yesterday, and I'm trying to be ready in the future if this happens again. But this was yesterday. So we closed at 56.63 yesterday after this massive drop in the last 15 minutes. They waited till the last 15-minute candle to drop it like this. I'll put it on the 15-minute chart. This is what happened. It dropped right back through that gap in the last 15 minutes. Okay. So currently at SPX, though, we're at 56.84, which is up a bit from yesterday, about 20 points. And we do have news that is populating about Trump and what he said about China and the tariffs. And of course, that is probably going to lead to some upwards mobility today, which may be why the VIX is at 22 right now versus 24 and 25 and all those good things. Hey, Ward, how you doing? Hey, Tanya, my day, Tanya, the other Tanya, my day, Littlefield, TJ, that's what I was going to say, TJ and Tanya, and Question, not sure who Question is, but good morning. Glad to have y'all here. The VIX is at 22.23 right now. VIX is down, which means the market is chugging on up most likely. But listen, what do we do in here? What do? We trade what we see. Trade what you see. We don't go in with the bias. You have an idea of what things might do, but we trade what you see. It says here, markets are flat as investors eye tariff talks and trade risks. Stocks are flatlined as investors await clarity from the U.S.-China trade talks with hopes that a potential tariff rollback could probably ease. On China seems right. One of the things that kind of bothers me is when one piece of news comes out and then it ends up not being accurate. Like somebody put something out there just to let everybody start scrambling around, and then the next thing it's a different that wasn't the real news, right? One of my major pet peeves is lying. And if you're not being truthful, that's what you're doing, is lying. Whether that's, by flat out lying or by leaving key information out or by leading us down a path. I don't really like that. Okay. Stock futures edge higher with U.S.-China talks on deck. Boeing is the first winner in the new era of piecemeal trade deals. Seems like Boeing made some kind of deal with the EU or UK, something like that, and they're buying a whole bunch of planes or something like that. Committed to billions of dollars worth of planes. And China exports to the U.S. fell off a cliff as Trump tariffs kicked in. Yeah, we knew there was going to be a bit of a hit. Now, I've said this before and I still say it. I think the conversation between U.S. and China needs to be had. I think it's a necessary conversation. And sometimes I guess you got to overkill it in order to get us back to the right place. But I do believe, I personally don't get into politics per se, but I've lived in China and I do know, we needed to have a conversation. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not getting any deeper into that because, I don't want the trolls to show up. I'm just saying that I think the conversation needed to be had. How it hashes out will be good for all included, hopefully, but I think the conversation is necessary. Stock futures gain as Trump suggests that many trade deals are close. Live updates. Dow futures up 104. S&P futures up 20. NASDAQ futures up 82. Oil is green. 10-year bonds green. Stock futures start list slightly higher as Trump suggests the tariffs on China is going to be 80%. Cargo thieves are attacking the U.S. supply chain at alarming rates. Wow, because the stuff just sitting in the ports. So anyway, Palantir is now among the 10 most valuable U.S. tech companies. Its earnings multiple is astronomical. I think we've had people talk about Palantir and their value as a company before. So keep that in mind as you're trading. Maybe you put them on your dollar cost average list. What's a dollar cost average? It is where you buy a little bit over a consistent period of time. Buy a little, buy a little, buy a little. That's how you work that. What is the current price of Palantir? 80-something dollars maybe? Is Palantir in the 80s now, or has it popped back up to the 100? PLTR. Palantir is now at 119. Ooh, it's popping. It had dropped real bad there. Well, along with everything else, tech just takes a hit, and it had dropped down pretty bad, but now it's at $119. Yep. SPX 500. I'll go back there for now. All right, where are we? Calendar. Today, we don't have any red folders, but we got a lot of FOMC people talking today. We had our FOMC announcement on Wednesday, and now we got them speaking in the various places today. So just know that these conversations do cause some volatility, but they're at 10 o'clock and at 11:30 is the two times. And then feel like there's going to be probably a conversation or something, or some kind of tweet or something will come out from the White House that will potentially lead us into some more volatility for the day as well. This is investing.com, 10 o'clock, Goolsby, Waller, FOMC, oil rig counts are going to come at 1 o'clock, and then 3:30, our regular speculative net positions. There we go. Well, that seemed to be a mouthful. Okay, our earnings. Let me go over here and see what earnings we had this morning and yesterday. Earnings this morning and yesterday. We had Coinbase last night. I believe crypto. Oh, I need to go back to CNBC because I didn't look at the other countries. There we go. We circle back. We spin the block. Europe is all green. Europe stocks rise as investors look ahead to the U.S.-China trade talks and the German stocks. And Asia is all green, except Nifty 50 and Shanghai are both red. Asia Pacific stocks mixed as investors parse the China data, await Washington, Beijing trade talks. Let's see. Now, this was what I was getting ready to mention, is Bitcoin is now above 100K again. So when Bitcoin fell off and people were like, oh no, the sky is falling, it's up at over 100,000 again, 102 and some change. Something was said yesterday by Trump about buy stock or something like that, and people ran off and did exactly that. It's like, okay. Anyway, and they went and bought crypto. Maybe he said something about that yesterday. Ethereum is up 246 points. It's at 2337. Solana's at 172, up 12. Dogecoin is at 0.20. It's up 0.01. And XRP is at 238. It's up 0.12 as well. All of the cryptos are green as well. Okay, I was going back to the earnings. Yesterday, we had in the morning, we had Shopify, Hut 8, Crocs, and Yeti. Yesterday, after market close, we had the trade desk. Coinbase must have done decent. Marathon or Mara was yesterday. Mercado Libre was yesterday. SoundHound, which they kind of held steady. DraftKings, Wolf, WOLF was had earnings yesterday. CleanSpark had earnings yesterday, and so did Affirm. Affirm might have had a decent little move. They've been doing pretty well. This morning, the other Wolf, WULF, the other Wolf. You got Wolf WO and Wolf WU. Both of those had earnings yesterday and today. Enbridge had earnings this morning. Tellus and Telos. People got their names so close. That's all the earnings we had today. All right. So there's that. DraftKings had earnings. For those who are into the sports betting, they had earnings there as well. All right. Before I go back to the chart, I want you to take a look at going to the E2T-freebies. Hey, Cassandra. Hey, Janae. And look at the 3 things to check before you trade. These are 3. It's a freebie, a little, PDF freebie that you can grab from over at the E2T-freebies page. There's a bunch of free stuff over there. This is the latest freebie that has been put over there. And I wanted you to go over and check it out if you're interested. If you're so interested, okay? Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you're hanging out with us, we're here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. We're here Sunday evenings at 5, looking at the market for the day on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we're looking at the market for the week on Sunday evenings at 5. That's what we do. Good morning, Selena. Oh, that was interesting. I did not know we had that picked up. Oh, well. Techie to Trader, your YouTube channel is getting some love this morning. Okay, so Adam said yesterday 56.64 was a failed breakdown, triggered the long, which that's right where we quit. Yesterday we stopped at 56.63. That's what triggered this break, this move that started up today, or started yesterday, I guess. Triggered the long 5678, 5700, 5716 targets in SPX overnight. 5664 was a failed break, became an ATM machine. It triggered 2 times more. Plan today, that same area, 5664 is support. It keeps 5686, 5700, 5710, and 15 alive. If 5664 fails, then we dip to 5652, 5632. A bull flag breakout fails below that. All right. Gap between ES and SPX is 20 points. Why do we care about the gap between SPX and ES? We care about that because we look at Adam's tweets. Adam Mancini, you see Adam Mancini 4, he's over on Twitter or X, and he trades the ES. Well, he does level to level trading. We take that information, switch it over to SPX. So that's how I need that gap information to subtract the 20 points off of his numbers to know where did this translate to in SPX to make it work for us. That's why that is there. If you're trading XSP, the range may be between 563 and 572. That's our range in there. Okay. There we are with that. Let's swing back to the charts. I'm going to remove this and let's go back to the charts. In the pre-market, as I said, SPX 500 is currently at 56.89. I was just talking about the 56.64 level, which now is where this 200 period moving average is down here. And you see we're fanning out our moving averages on the 15-minute chart going on up in SPX 500. Definitely got a little bullish tilt to it. Okay. With the support being 56.64, it popped right off of that back here late in the, early this morning or late last night, and it's been pushing ever since then. Let's go look at SPY, see what SPY has going this morning. SPY is currently at 567. Yesterday, SPY closed at 564. Currently at 567.28, bounced off of the 564 mark. Down here in the post market, yesterday it dropped a little lower in the post market, 564.19. This morning, the pre-market, it bounced up to 564.82 or gapped up, and now it's been moving upwards from there. We're currently at 567 on SPY, and we're about 27 minutes from the market opening, right? We don't have a lean. Triple Q is at 490 this morning. For those who are still in the triple Q play, it is at 490 this morning. So we'll see. It closed yesterday at 488. It got a little juice in the pre-market, probably based on this news that just came out, and it's currently at 490. If you're in the triple Q call credit spread, you might want to look at seeing what some price action is doing. And you might want to consider jumping ship and heading for greener pastures. Might want to head for greener pastures. Looking at IWM. IWM is, let me hold on for a minute. I got to take myself somewhere so I won't forget to go there when the call is over. All right. IWM is currently at 201. It closed yesterday at 201.23. It's currently at 201.91. All right. I'm going to go back to SPX because I would like to freshen up my chart, put accurate things on my chart. Well, I'm looking at the daily. Got a lot of things happening here on the daily chart. Let me see what gaps we still have that need to be adjusted. Well, this gap here that was from, this is the daily chart. Yeah, the gap that was from April the 3rd has now been filled from last Friday. I thought I took this off, but it's not gone. So we'll take this gap off. Close here, close that gap. Yep, close that gap, close those gaps, close. When you're charting, you want to look at support, resistance, right? And you want to look at gaps. That's a bare minimum. That is the bare minimum you want to do, is look at support, resistance, and gaps. That's not all you want to look at, but that's the bare minimum that you want to look at. I want to put something on here. What do I want to write on here? I want to write, will it put the daily resistance? That's what that is a daily resistance. Y'all see yesterday's candle? Y'all don't know if y'all can see it real good. It's so skinny, so skinty. This is yesterday's candle. It opened and closed at literally the same place. I'll move these red lines off it so you can see. But that's basically my open and close has been, I put it there from yesterday. But this is, we opened and closed at almost the very same dollar. Do you know how that happens? Anybody want to gander a guess? Anybody want to gander a guess as to how SPX can run a range of 32 points? Is that 32 points? Yes. It can run a range of 32 points. No, that ain't even accurate either. That was more than 32 points. The low was 56.35 and the high was 57. That's 100. Why is that range not showing up there? Why is that not showing on the range? I need to see that. So the high was 57.20 and the low was 56.35. That's almost 100 points. How did this candle run up and down, top to bottom, 100 points and end up in the exact same place? How? Do y'all know how? I'm going to tell you how. It's a long word and it starts with the M. It's called manipulation. That's the word. That's where it's because it's been manipulated. Because there's no way something that runs 100 points in both in up and down direction or a range of 100 points comes back to the 85 points. Okay, 185. Thank you for being exact, Janae. I appreciate it. Runs and comes back to the exact same spot. And very rarely does it do that. Okay, so anyway, I was looking at the chart. Let me focus. I was putting on support, resistance, and looking for any gaps. Those are the minimum, the bare minimum things you want to put on your chart. Support, resistance, and gaps. Right? We use our moving averages. The job of the moving averages is to help us. I think there's a gap here. The job of the moving averages is to help us with some more support and resistance, help us to determine trend. That is the job of the moving averages too. There's a little bit of a gap down here. All right, that's the job of the moving averages. Help us with trend. Crossover means you change of trend. See how this 50 and the 9, this is a 9 period. No, it might be a 20. That might be my 20. I don't know if I have a 9. Oh, the 9 is there. The 50 and the 9 crossed over right here. Let you know we're changing over, going a different direction. Now, some people use the crossover as a full strategy. I think it's just something that you partner with other things. That's me. How people use their strategies is up to them. But you see back here, the 9 and the 20 also crossed over a few days ago. Let you know that we're going bullish. As this 20 period moving average started to turn up, let you know that we're changing directions, baby. Changing directions. The orange is the 20, the red is the 9. 9 is a much shorter. It's going to move a little faster, closer to direction. When that crossed over, we're going up. Yep, moving on up. And then it crossed. Then the 9 also crossed over this 50, still going up. Janae said, gives new meaning to being along for the ride. Who knew we was getting played? Yeah, if you in this stock market, you need to always anticipate the fact that you're getting played. But we are trading against the machines. We're trading against machines, which means you need to use everything you can use to help yourself, because you're trading against the algorithms, the bots, the machines, because they got the money to put together all the things to manipulate it, and we just using our human brains. All right, but this is what's happening on SPX. This is what SPX. We talked about SPY, talked about SPX, Triple Q, IWM. Basically, we wait and see what the market does when it opens. That's what we do. We watch and we trade what we see. That's how we do. I was just talking about charting, and I want you to know that you need to, at the very least, okay? I talk about this every day, and it's because we need to have it. At the very least, you need to understand candlestick patterns. You need to understand how to read a stock chart. And if you don't, you should not be in these trading streets with your real money until you understand charting to a basic level. I'm not saying you got to be a charting guru, but understand support, resistance, gaps, moving averages. These are basic things, okay? Come on, humans. Come on. And it's not hard to understand these things. Watch a video or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever it is you need to get an understanding. Watch some videos till you got an understanding. Because there's yesterday's volatility. Let me go put this back on the screen. If you look at yesterday's price action, bananas, banana, okay? The lady I use who used to be our IE in China would say, do you want a banana? Well, she would just say banana. She wouldn't say, do you want? Because that was way too many words in English. But she would say banana. The kids were trying to teach her how to say banana, and she would say banana. But the price action yesterday was banana. Okay? Let me go back. Come on, put it back on the screen. There we go. This is yesterday's price action. We gapped up, stayed in this dotted line is my opening range, stayed in the opening range a little bit, finally fell out, dropped down as low as 56.36. That's where we dropped to, 56.36. We opened at 56.69. Dropped down to 56.36. It decided we're going up. It ran all the way up to 5,700. In one move, this is a 5-minute chart. So in a 5-minute span from 11 to 11:45, we ran up straight. For 45 minutes, green. For 45 minutes, all green candles. Right? This is where that imbalance I was talking about got created during this run up. And then it bounced a little bit, ran up a little bit more as high as 57.19, which was the previous day's high, by the way. That was yesterday's high. Previous day, never mind, ignore that. I put that on there yesterday. Then it fell back down below 5,700 to 56.86, thinking maybe people think we're coming back down again because we're below 5,700. Moving averages crossed back over. It got down here, bounced into the 50-period moving average, went back up above 5,700, got you thinking we're going to stay above 5,700 because the market makers wanted above 5,700. And then at, 3:30? At 3:30, the market decided, 57.07 decided we tired. We've done enough work today. And for the next 30 minutes, it just fell off the charts. Straight. Red for the next 30. It created some gaps on the way. There's some gaps in here that were left behind. It was moving down so quick, it left some gaps. Y'all see those? These little gaps in here between these. It was dropping so fast, it was leaving gaps behind. I'm sure there's some ICT stuff on fair value gaps. Again, I watched a little bit of ICT. I think those are fair value gaps. I could be wrong. And please don't hold me to it if it's not. Okay? Because, Hey, Yusuf. Drop, left a little gaps, left some gaps behind. But this was yesterday's price action. That's really what I was talking about when I brought this chart. This was yesterday's price action. This is the kind of stuff that you need to know how to read a chart in here. You need to be able to see there's some support and resistance lines. There's gaps being created. Are we in and out of this opening range? We came right back into it. Did we break out of it down here? We broke right back through it. Where are we going? This is why you need some kind of charting training. Chart your way to 100K. It's going to give you confidence in during a trading day. All right. Again, it's a product. You don't have to buy my product per se, but get somebody's. And get somebody's who's going to at least teach you something in a time frame that matters. Because sometimes you buy, for me, I'm going to talk about me. If I buy a product that takes me way too long to consume the information, I won't necessarily consume it. Even though there's a lot of good information in it, it needs to be concise. And concise doesn't always mean short. It needs to be as long as it needs to be, but as short as it can be. That's how I do when I'm creating courses and trainings. It needs to be as long as it needs to be, but as short as it can be. Like, don't make it long for no reason, but don't make it so short that it's no good. It has to have enough information to cover the material, but it don't have to be long just so I can say I got long stuff, because people ain't gonna watch it. I want people to watch it, because the whole point is that it's information that we need. All right. So consider that. Educator2trader.com is where you can find the chart your way to 100K. All righty. SPX playbook. This still guides us. Into the power hour, 2:30, 4 o'clock, where this still guides us into selecting strikes and where's a good place and where's not a good place, and when is a good time and when's not a good time. This is still a good guide for us. $27 over at spxplaybook.com. spxplaybook.com. These are the strategies that we cover inside of my community: weekly credit spreads, daily credit spreads on SPX, cash secure puts, covered calls. Yesterday, me and the community made some money. I pulled in another $725 in profits. Yes, $725 in profits. Bless the Lord. Hallelujah. We're using all the pieces and the parts to help us get to the bag. We're using the stuff we've learned: VWAP, candle patterns, magic 8 ball. We're using moving averages. We're using all the things. Whatever we can use to get us to where we need to go, that's where we're using it all. All of them are tools. We're using all the tools available to us to get the job done. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching, you're free to go over there, grab a session with me. They're like 60 to 90 minutes, depending on what you need. One-on-one coaching over at educator2trader.com. Chris says, why use the 15-minute chart versus the 30-minute chart or the hourly? It's a personal preference. Because I trade SPX on the daily, during the day, I'll generally stay on the 15, but 30-minute chart, hourly chart is fine. I'm all for those. I've been looking at some stuff that does talk about the hourly chart, and I may be putting that, I may put multiple time frames up even more often, because it will siphon out some of the noise. But when you're, trading on for the day, sometimes you need a little bit more fine-tuned than just the hourly chart. But if you're trading as a buyer, it's up to you. Basically, it's a personal preference. That's the short answer, Chris. That's the personal preference, right? 15 minutes, if it's going to turn back, sometimes it can be too much noise. It's really a personal preference. I like the 30-minute chart, especially for the breakout. Sometimes I'll set my breakout at 30 minutes versus 15, so I can really see if it really did break out. Hourly chart is going to be great for watching those reversals too. But sometimes it's hard to watch that hourly chart. Take an hour to feel the candle. It's hard to watch it. Sometimes the way my patience is set up, I'll be struggling. One-on-one coaching, if you just need some time maybe to help get you fine-tuned, go over and grab an hourly session. Maybe you don't want to be in the membership, you don't want all those things, you just want an hourly session, go over and get that on my website. I ask that you all would consider following me over on LinkedIn. If you're already on LinkedIn, just go look for Educator to Trader over there and come follow me. Again, a lot more different type of information over on LinkedIn, more educational there. I actually got to send an email out. Speaking of which, you're welcome over on LinkedIn. All right. I believe we're landing the plane because we're about 10 minutes out. E2T Trader's Declaration. I declare I'm a great trader, a successful trader, and a focused trader. I declare my wins exceed my losses, my accounts growing steadily. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I have a strategy that I use for my trades. I don't randomly place trades. I'm a level-headed trader who trades my plan and not my emotions. I sure hope you all are repeating something like this, or that this is the way that you're trading. I have found that when I have focused in on doing a specific strategy and sometimes a specific stock, I'm seeing better results because I'm not doing this. I'm not all over the place. When I'm looking in one place at one thing, I'm having better results. All right. That's me. One strategy, sometimes 1 to 2 stocks, I'm seeing better results. All right. Lord, it's you who gives us the power to get results. Yes. And the power to get wealth. You've given us the power to get wealth and results. Help us today to trade our strategy with wisdom and knowledge. Allow us to prosper enough to have what we need and enough to bless others. In Jesus' name, amen. 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 All right, everybody. Oh, goodness. Well, I have to be here to have fun because, I have to entertain myself when I'm on these calls. I don't get the feedback, which it's fine with me. I used to miss it. When I first started doing YouTube, I would miss the interaction of the people that were from my Zoom calls because I did Zoom calls for so long in the morning. But now I've gotten used to just entertaining myself. I can hear y'all out there. Even if y'all aren't saying anything, like I can't hear you, I can hear my people. I can hear you in the world and the atmosphere. I can hear y'all. All right. We're going to do 3 things today. We're going to stay green. We're going to get this money and we're going to have a great green day. If you're in my community, I will see you on Zoom about 10:15. But the rest of y'all, I will see you in the market.